Hello Dub Nation, it's always a thrill to connect with you, especially as we're about to reveal the latest news that could shape the fate of our beloved Golden State Warriors. But before we dive into this whirlwind of information, let me make a friendly request. Show us some love by clicking the like button to strengthen our bond, and hey, if you are not subscribed yet, join our channel for a thrilling and emotional journey. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay ahead of the game.
Warriors must rethink crucial Moses Moody decision with game-changing stakes. There wasn't much for the Golden State Warriors to celebrate in their 131-116 Game 5 loss to the Houston Rockets, but Moses Moody's fourth-quarter performance stood out as a rare silver lining in an otherwise disappointing night at the Toyota Center. Moody spearheaded a spirited comeback effort off the bench after Golden State was overwhelmed through three quarters. His energy and production may have reignited the conversation about his place in the starting lineup, a spot he's been absent from for the past 3 games. Following head coach Steve Kerr's surprising rotation shakeup. Warriors might need to rethink the Moody for Hield swap. The initial decision to bench Moody in Game 3 raised eyebrows, especially since it coincided with a lineup overhaul sparked by Jimmy Butler's pelvic injury. When Butler returned, Buddy Hield was inserted into the starting 5, pushing Moody to the bench. At first glance, Kerr's move seemed to pay off. Hield played a key role in Game 4's win, while Moody logged under 12 minutes and struggled with his shot. But Game 5 painted a very different picture. Hield managed just 4 points on 2 of 6 shooting and was part of a starting unit that got steamrolled on both ends. Moody, on the other hand, exploded for a playoff career-high 25 points and 9 rebounds in 26 minutes, 15 of those points coming in a single fourth-quarter surge that nearly brought Golden State back from the dead. Still, the case for Moody isn't just about a strong finish. It's about how the game starts, and how the Warriors set the tone defensively. While Hield had his defensive moments in Game 4, relying on him over Moody consistently is a defensive downgrade. That's just the reality. Let's not forget, since acquiring Butler, the Warriors finished the regular season with the best defense in the league, thanks in large part to Moody's lockdown presence on the perimeter. Straying from that identity now, in a must-win situation, is a dangerous gamble, especially with Hield's long-standing reputation as a below-average defender. Kerr's decision to lean on the veteran shooter may have been aimed at spacing the floor and drawing out Houston's big man, Alperen Sengun. But after surrendering 76 points in the first half, and with Moody clearly regaining his rhythm, it might be time to pivot again. Game 6 at Chase Center is do or die. The Warriors need to rediscover what made them dominant down the stretch, and that likely starts with putting Moses Moody back where he belongs, in the starting lineup. Warriors must rethink crucial Moses Moody decision with game-changing stakes. There wasn't much for the Golden State Warriors to celebrate in their 131-116 Game 5 loss to the Houston Rockets, but Moses Moody's fourth-quarter performance stood out as a rare silver lining in an otherwise disappointing night at the Toyota Center. Moody spearheaded a spirited comeback effort off the bench after Golden State was overwhelmed through 3 quarters. His energy and production may have reignited the conversation about his place in the starting lineup, a spot he's been absent from for the past 3 games, following head coach Steve Kerr's surprising rotation shakeup. Warriors might need to rethink the Moody for Hield swap. The initial Steve Kerr sends strong message amid Dillon Brooks' controversial tactics on injured Stephen Curry. Warriors fans have been sounding the alarm for days, and now, head coach Steve Kerr has spoken up. The one-on-one battle between Stephen Curry and Dillon Brooks has been one of the most intense and talked-about storylines of the first-round series between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. What started as a compelling matchup has taken a darker turn as Brooks appears to be deliberately targeting Curry's injured thumb. Houston took a dominant win in Game 5, shifting momentum in their favor, but Golden State now returns home with a chance to close out the series Friday night at Chase Center. However, the conversation heading into Game 6 isn't just about basketball. It's about respect, sportsmanship, and player safety. Brooks targets Curry's injury, and admits it. Over the past few games, Warriors fans have pointed out a disturbing pattern, Brooks repeatedly making contact with Curry's already injured thumb during contested shots. The 2-time MVP initially sprained the thumb late in the regular season against the Trailblazers and has been playing through pain, supported by a protective brace. What began as fan speculation erupted into a full-blown controversy after a photo of Curry's visibly swollen thumb went viral following Game 5. During the broadcast, longtime Warriors announcer Bob Fitzgerald even alluded to Brooks' actions on air, amplifying the growing outrage. Then came the post-game bombshell. Brooks didn't just deny the accusations, he embraced them. "If I had a bad ankle, I'd expect someone to go at it every time," Brooks told reporters unapologetically. It's part of the game. Kerr calls for the league to act. That comment struck a nerve, not just with fans, but with Steve Kerr, who voiced serious concern in his post-game remarks. He didn't mince words. I'm very confident that next season, the league will address this, Kerr said, because it's only a matter of time before someone seriously breaks a thumb or a hand. Kerr's frustration echoes a broader sentiment from across the NBA community, that there's a line between competitiveness and recklessness, and Brooks may have crossed it. While physicality is part of playoff basketball, intentionally targeting an injury, especially when openly admitted, raises ethical and safety concerns. Can the league or Brooks be expected to change? It remains to be seen whether the NBA will step in during this series. The truth is, league intervention before Game 6 seems unlikely, and perhaps even less likely is Brooks suddenly deciding to play with greater integrity. That leaves Curry to battle through the pain, as he's done many times before. Despite the injury and the extra attention from Brooks, the 37-year-old veteran has still delivered when it matters, dropping 31 and 36 points in Games 1 and 3. But his production has slowed in the last two matchups, where he's managed to combine 30 points and gone just 5-for-17 from beyond the arc. A crucial game ahead. Now, with the series on the line and emotions running high, all eyes turn to Friday night. Will the Warriors rise behind their captain and defend home court? Will Brooks dial it back, or dial it up? And how will the league respond if Curry's condition worsens? One thing's for sure, Game 6 just became about a lot more than basketball. Steve Kerr responds to Dillon Brooks' targeting of Stephen Curry's injured thumb. The Golden State Warriors are facing a pivotal moment in their playoff series against the Houston Rockets. After a dominant Game 5 loss in Houston, the Warriors return to Chase Center on Friday, May 2, 2025, with the series now at 3-2 in their favor. The spotlight has shifted from the court to the controversy surrounding Rockets forward Dillon Brooks and his alleged targeting of Stephen Curry's injured thumb. SF Gate. +2. Cron. +2. SF Gate. +2. Brooks, known for his aggressive defensive style, has been accused of deliberately making contact with Curry's thumb during shooting attempts. Curry, who suffered a sprained thumb in the regular season finale against the Portland Trail Blazers, has been playing through the injury with a protective wrap. The controversy intensified after a photo of Curry's swollen thumb went viral, prompting discussions among fans and analysts alike. SF Gate. In response to these allegations, Warriors head coach Steve Kerr expressed his concerns, stating, "I'm very confident that next season, the league will address this. It's only a matter of time before someone seriously breaks a thumb or a hand." Kerr's comments highlight the potential risks involved and the need for the league to reassess its rules regarding post-shot contact. As the series heads back to San Francisco, all eyes will be on Game 6. The Warriors aim to close out the series on their home court, but the lingering questions about Brooks' tactics and the league's response add an extra layer of intrigue to what is already a high-stakes matchup. For fans and analysts, the upcoming game is not just about basketball, it's about sportsmanship, player safety, and the integrity of the game. As the Warriors prepare for Game 6, the resolution of this controversy could have lasting implications for the remainder of the playoffs and beyond. Game 6 between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets is scheduled for Friday, May 2, 2025, at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time at Chase Center in San Francisco. Hub, Steve Kerr says Warriors are right where they want to be heading into Game 6 versus Rockets. Here's your all-in-one Warriors and NBA news roundup for Friday, May 2nd. Despite a lopsided loss on the road in Game 5, there's no sense of panic coming out of the Warriors camp. In fact, head coach Steve Kerr made it clear, Golden State is exactly where they want to be. After falling behind early in Wednesday night's 131-116 defeat in Houston, the Warriors now return to the Bay holding a 3-2 lead in their best-of-7 first-round series. And with Game 6 tipping off tonight at Chase Center, the message from Kerr is simple: this was never going to be easy, and that's exactly the point. "We're right where we need to be," Kerr told reporters. "These series are battles. You learn, you adjust, and now we go home with a chance to close it out in front of our fans." Game 5 wasn't pretty, not even close. Golden State starters were overwhelmed early, trailing by as much as 27 at halftime. But Kerr's decision to pull them midway through the third quarter wasn't just waving the white flag. It was a calculated move to preserve energy and refocus for what's ahead. Now, the stage is set for a massive Game 6 in San Francisco, and the Warriors are counting on their home crowd to help them finish the job. The Chase Center has been a fortress this postseason, and with proven playoff leaders like Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler at the helm, this group knows exactly what it takes to survive and thrive in moments like these. There's a calm confidence in the locker room. This isn't their first rodeo. They've been here before, and they've come out stronger on the other side. Now they're aiming to do it again, one more win, and they move on. Around the league, NBA headlines you need to know. Malik Beasley of the Pistons raised eyebrows after their first-round exit, declaring himself the best shooter in the world, despite Detroit falling to the Knicks. Greg Popovich has officially stepped away from coaching duties in San Antonio, shifting into his full-time role as president of the Spurs, marking the end of a legendary coaching era. For more on the Warriors, the playoffs, and all things NBA, stay locked in to Dub Hub. Game 6 tips off tonight, and if you know anything about May basketball in the Bay, you know this: the Warriors live for moments like these. As Game 6 looms, the pressure isn't just on Golden State to perform, it's also on them to protect something bigger, their identity. For a decade, the Warriors have defined postseason resilience. And while this team looks different, older in places, newer in others, the DNA remains. That's what Steve Kerr is leaning into. Nothing about this run has been conventional, Kerr said after practice Thursday. But we've built our legacy in moments just like this: backs against the wall, questions flying, and one chance to remind the world who we are. Much of that reminder may fall on the shoulders of Steph Curry, who was held in check in Game 5, finishing with just 17 points on a night when the Rockets swarmed him from the opening tip. But back at Chase Center, with the energy of the home crowd behind him, Curry's postseason history suggests a bounce-back performance is not just possible, it's expected. Jimmy Butler, too, is expected to rise. After playing just 24 minutes in Game 5 due to Kerr's early lineup change, Butler has had 2 full days to rest and recalibrate. Known for his ability to turn games on their head when it matters most, Butler's physicality and leadership could be the X-factor that tips the series. "I didn't come here to watch," Butler told reporters with a smile. "I came here to win." Houston's confidence is growing. But the Rockets aren't just showing up to play spoiler, they believe they can steal this series. Led by Ime Udoka, Houston has played with purpose and edge. Their Game 5 domination was no fluke, it was a calculated dismantling of Golden State's usual flow. By switching defenses, clogging driving lanes, and exploiting size mismatches with Alperen Sengun and Steven Adams, Houston created chaos, and thrived in it. Now they're hoping to do it again, this time under brighter lights and louder pressure. Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet have been fearless, while Jabari Smith Jr. has quietly emerged as a defensive anchor. The Rockets are young, yes, but they're growing up fast. Should they pull off the upset, the implications would be seismic. It would mark Golden State's first opening round exit since the dynasty began, and signal that a new generation in the West is ready to rise. The bigger picture. This series, this moment, isn't just about one game. It's a snapshot of where the NBA is headed. On one side, a battle-tested core trying to squeeze out one more deep run before time and contracts catch up. On the other, a fearless, athletic Rockets team ahead of schedule and full of belief. The stakes are as psychological as they are competitive. Front offices across the league are watching too. Should Golden State fall short, tough questions will follow. Is this core still capable of contending? Is it time to retool around Curry with younger pieces? And how much longer will the franchise be able to delay its inevitable transition? For now, those questions wait. Tonight, it's about grit. It's about poise. It's about whether the Warriors can summon just a little more magic, or whether the future has officially arrived, wearing Rockets red.